What's going on, guys? This is Touchdowns to Home Runs, and today we will be predicting the 2020 Georgia Bulldogs schedule game by game. We'll be going through which games I think they will win and which games I think they will lose. That's all coming up in just a second. Georgia fans, do not forget to grab your Sanford Stadium 3D stadium wall art. Man, this thing is beautiful. You guys got to show off your beautiful stadium to all your family and friends when they come in your house and they know that you are the ultimate Georgia Bulldog fan. Click the link down below in the description or visit my website to find out where you can get a great deal on one of these. Since we are talking about SEC football, I had to bring out this SEC tie that I have. I'm going to wear it every SEC video I make. It's just beautiful. I don't care how stupid I look. It's just amazing. Now, before we start talking about Georgia's 2020 season, we have to look back on their 2019 season. First, with their notable wins, they beat number 7 Notre Dame, they beat number 12 Auburn, number 6 Florida, and number 7 Baylor. Those are 4 big wins, all in the top 15. And then we got to look at their losses too. They lost to my team, South Carolina. Oh my gosh, that was one of the best moments of my life when Rodrigo set that kick. I'm sorry, Georgia fans. That was a good game, but thankfully we won somehow. And then they lost to number 2 LSU, who is now the number 1. They lost that game in the SEC championship. Now we got to look at some of the players that will not be coming back for next season. They got Jake Fromm's not coming back, DeAndre Swift, Andrew Thomas, Isaiah Wilson, Tyler Clark, and Jeremiah Holloman. Those are just the notable guys that aren't coming back. There's a bunch more. And then some of the guys they gained, they had 4 5-stars in this new class. I'm going to name the top 3 rated ones. We got Keely Ringo, who's a quarterback, Darnell Washington, who's an athlete, and then Mikael Sherman, who's an outside linebacker. So they lost a bunch of guys, but this class is legit, and they're showing it. They're bringing in big name guys. Okay, so now let's move on to which games they'll win this season and which games they'll lose in order. First off, to start the season for Georgia, they got Virginia at a neutral site, I'm pretty sure. And Virginia was a good team last year, but they're losing Bryce Hall, and he's a big guy on their team. I think Georgia should win this one, so we're giving Georgia the W here. Next, they got Eastern Tennessee State, FCS team. Georgia should take care of business. If they don't win this game, it's going to be a big shock. Week 3, biggest game of the season for them. They're going to Tuscaloosa at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and they're playing the big boys, the Alabama Crimson Tide. That's going to be a close game. It's going to be a good game. But I just think Alabama, their class they're bringing in is even better than what Georgia has. This year, at least, I think Alabama still holds the advantage over Georgia. But the year after that and the year after that, I think it's a different story. I think Georgia will be able to beat Alabama then. Next, they got Louisiana Monroe. This one's at home, and they should, again, take care of business. Group of 5 game. That should be a win for them. Next, they got in Georgia at Sanford Stadium against Vandy. Again, Vandy is that team in the SEC that you should beat. That should always be a win, and that is the case here. I'm giving Georgia another W. So far they start off the season 4-1 for the first 5 games. Not bad, but that's not what you want if you're a Georgia fan. Next, they got Auburn at home. Auburn's a good team. Bo Nix proved that he can win some big games this year. They beat Oregon in a late comeback, and they beat Alabama this year. But again, I still think in Georgia, I think that Georgia should be able to win this game. Next, they got at Missouri. Missouri's a good team. Like I said this in my other Florida video, they will put up fights against other SEC teams. But Georgia, they're just too good of a team for that. Too much for Missouri to handle. Even though it's in Columbia, Missouri, I still think Georgia's going to get it done. After that, they got a bye. And then going into their big game against Florida all the time. This is a big game. And I think that they will be able to win this game. I have Florida going in as a very good team this year, but I have Georgia winning this game. Georgia just always prepares for this game a lot better than Florida does in Jacksonville. And I love this game because I love how the stadium split. I love how they play in a neutral site. Everything about this game is one of the top college football games every year. And I just think Georgia's going to win it again. I just think that they have that power to win it. Now, here is my big pick. I'm going to get so much hate for this, but you just have to hear me out here for the reasoning. So, Georgia just played Florida. They're going to get banged up in this game. They're going to have a lot of injuries. And then they go and play a South Carolina team. And you're seriously telling me, are you seriously telling me that Georgia is going to lose to South Carolina again? And I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. Georgia is going to lose to South Carolina again. This one's at home. Georgia's just coming off of playing Florida. They're going to get really banged up in this game. South Carolina's coming off a game against Vanderbilt. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, Georgia fans, but I just don't, it's hard because, oh my gosh, I can't even get the words out, but it just coming off, Georgia, I know comes off as very cocky a lot of times, especially in the game last year. They're going to come off a huge win against Florida, because Florida should be at that point at least a top 5 team, and then they're going to come and face the big crowd at Willie B. We've seen it happen in 2014 before that top 10 rated Georgia team. I think that they were the 6th seed. They came in. Their running backs were Todd Gurley, Nick Chubb, and Sony Michel at that time, and South Carolina was still able to beat them. I think that's going to happen here. It's in Columbia, South Carolina, and I'm sorry, Georgia fans, but you're going to suffer your second loss of the season to South Carolina. Now the next game, we got Tennessee. Georgia should be able to win this one. Tennessee is on a 6-game winning streak right now, but I still think that Georgia's strong enough to beat Tennessee here. So I'm giving Georgia the W. At Kentucky, Kentucky can be a good team at some points. We saw last year that they were capable of doing stuff, but this year, even though it's in Kentucky, I'm still giving it to Georgia. They're just too strong. Next, I got their rivalry game. This one's in Sanford Stadium against Georgia Tech. Again, Georgia should be able to win this one. So, at the end of the season, I have them going 10-2 with a loss to Alabama and a surprising loss to South Carolina. Don't call me crazy because it happened last year, but don't call me biased either because in my last video, the Florida predictions, I did have South Carolina losing to Florida. This is actually what I think is going to happen. So, you can call me crazy or anything. These are just my opinions. If you guys, whatever games you think that Georgia will win or lose, drop that down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, your opinion. But at the end of the season, I have them going 10-2, and I have them making a New Year's 6 bowl game. Which ones are I'm pretty sure next year, the Rose Bowl and the Sugar Bowl are the two, they're the 2 playoff games. So you're going to have the Cotton Bowl, Orange Bowl, Peach Bowl, and Sugar Bowl as the other ones in the mix. So they'll make one of those ones. And yeah, 10-2, not bad for Georgia. I think that in the later 2021 and 2022, those are Georgia's years. Those when their players are really going to develop. This year they're throwing in a new quarterback. We don't know yet. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. If you love SEC content or college football or any sports at all, please consider subscribing. I make a bunch. That's all I do. That's all I do on this channel is just make sports content. Yeah, thank you for watching this video and come back next time.